Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl. Welcome to my Happy Handcraft Studio. This floss tube is mainly about cross stitch, but I also include quilting, sewing, knitting, crocheting projects that I've been working on. So the title, August Slump. Over the weeks of August, I have looked up August doldrums or summer doldrums. I decided summer slump for my title, and I was thinking, why is it that I feel like I'm in a slump? As I was getting ready for this video, I found out that I've worked on almost all of my cross-stitch projects. I've put thousands of stitches in. I've finished a knitting project. I've finished projects for a charity event. Why did I feel I was in a funk? And as I was getting ready this morning, I realized it was because I was doing summer adulting. I was doing the things that I thought I should be doing. So it was less about fun and spontaneity and more about finishing up projects before starting new ones. That's hard. There's so much more fun starting a project than finishing one. But as you'll see today, I did adult. I've made good progress, and I'm really hoping in the next few weeks and months that I'll get that childlike spirit back again. So my finishes. I did finish some things. So Joyful July, I was working on Christmas projects, and I did finish these last two Prairie Schoolers that I was working on, 2009 and 2010. So now I have these four that I am going to fully finish as individual tree ornaments. These are done on an 18 count Putty Khaki by Zweigart, and I used the called for DMC. Stay tuned, later I'm going to be doing a giveaway of those patterns. So Joyful July, I also put quite a few stitches into Merry Christmas. This is Doreen Jones. It's on some unknown even weave khaki, and I'm using the called for DMC. I also worked on Christmas Snow Globe, and Christmas Snow Globe is going to look like this. The linen is Permian of Copenhagen, and the snow globe pattern is a pattern available on Etsy. The next Christmas or holiday one I worked on was called Christmas Ball. And this is what it's going to look like. This is xcrossstitchpattermx on Etsy, and it's on a 27 count Black Linda using the called for DMC. And by the same shop on Etsy, this one is called Christmas Deer. It's going to look like this when it's done. This is on a 28 count white Monaco, using the called for colors. So that was great. I got a lot of progress on those stitches, so I was really happy about that. So August starts, and I know I am going to be focusing on changing seasons. That's the plan. And on Semi-Sane Stitchers, there was one of their Bappening events, a big, awesome project that you really want to put a lot of stitches into. So changing seasons, I would do 1,000 stitches, and then I'd work on something else. So the first thing I worked on was Chocolate Bunny by Teresa Kogut, and this was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine 2020 spring. And this is on a chocolate raspberry linen. So now I have that to fully finish, which is great. So another 1,000 stitches on changing seasons, and then it was time to work on my Queen Elizabeth II in Her Coronation Dress, and I was working down into this area. This one is on a 28 count Vintage Blue Cashel. This one is a struggle every time. You have to pay attention as you're putting all those stitches in. Thank goodness for markup RXP. Did another 1,000 stitches on changing seasons, and it was time for library stitching with the City Stitcher and all the wonderful people who meet with us at the library. And I worked on King Charles III Coronation Emblem. This one is on an 18 count Aida. It's from Wilmsco on Etsy, and I'm using the called for colors. So, made progress on that one. Did another 1,000 stitches. And then I worked on Hoity Toity. So Hoity Toity is from Long Dog Sampler. This is on a 32 count antique white Lugana, and I'm using the called for DMC. This one I love working on. I just love the color changes. Putting together colors I would never put together, but I love how it's turning out. So, another 1,000 stitches on changing seasons, or just about. So, here is changing seasons. And I've been working over in this section, and so far this month I've put in 4,800 stitches. And it's still lining up, which is great. So I do really love working on this one. One color, nice blocks. It's fun. It really is. It's just a lot of stitching on it. But end of the year is my goal for changing seasons. So my plans worked out great. I will finish up the next 1,000 on this, and I think I should be able to also work on Simplicity Vintage before the end of August. And then September, brand new month, and I think I'm still going to be adulting. I really want to work on changing seasons. I want to work on Hoity Toity, and then I have those Christmas stitches that I would really like to have finished by Christmas season. That would be ideal. And so I think I'll work again 1,000 stitches on changing seasons, take a break, do one of the others, and then just keep on putting in stitches and trying to finish up things. It really is a season of finishing up projects. I'm already thinking about how my plans will look for 2024. I already have lots of things already kitted up, so I'll probably only be kitting up maybe 1 or 2 things that I found during the year that I want to add to that list. So it's been great. I'll show you my temperature blanket and then I'll talk about the giveaway. So temperature blanket. This is a free pattern at Michael's. Every day I add another edge of color. And so we're up here in nice warm weather again, or really warm weather. The red is the hottest. This ginger color is the second hottest. And it's over 4 feet by now, I would say. And I have a picture here showing it outside. And as I'm crocheting this, the one thing I'm noticing is that during the winter, I can fold this up on my sofa with these nice cool colors. And in the summer, fall, I can use the warmer colors. I want it done so that I can just really lay under it. I'm thinking December 31st, this is going to be a great couch blanket. So that's really been coming along. All right, so for the pattern giveaway, I have 4 Prairie School cards to give away. These will be easy to mail. So if you would like this first one, I'd like you to write the word owl. For this one, the word sew, S-E-W. This one is ski, S-K-I. And this final one is skate, S-K-A-T-E, skate. So, I would like you to be a subscriber, like this video, and also I would like to know, are you team summer or are you team fall? Judy the City Stitcher and I had a conversation about this. If you follow her, you know her choice. What are you? Are you team summer or team fall? To enter the giveaway, you have to be 18, and so that I can give you your address. And you'll need to see the next video to next FlossTube to know if you are one of the lucky winners. I won't be emailing you. You'll have to be watching for the video. So I really do like the Prairie School Santas, and I might pick up another 1 or 2 in the coming years. All right, so what have I made for charity? Well, one of the first things I made was this palm wreath. And I made one of these last year, you might remember, and I had a nice burlap bow. I couldn't find any kind of a bow like that. So I knit a bow to put on it. This is very nice and squishy. So that will be in our Bags, Babies, and Beyond sale, which will be October 27th, 28th if you're in this area. And the next thing that I made was this little wall hanging. This was from a kit that I picked up at our Fabric and Yarn sale. And this will also be at Bags, Babies, and Beyond. Now I have some knitting things, and the first knitting thing is also going into the sale. And this was one of the times where I had to be an adult. I really wanted to start a sweater, but I wanted to get this scarf done. And like, this scarf took forever. I was probably using smaller needles, and it was a complicated pattern. This is a cluster rib by Jill Schaefer. And I did put some pom-poms on the bottom just to, give it some interest. It's very nice and squishy. This is, it was called Metallic Luxe yarn from Michaels. And there's no wool or anything in this. We find that a lot of people really do like acrylic, especially for scarves, if it's around their necks, they like that. Yeah, so that's going into the sale. And as you can see, I finished it, blocked it. So I got to start a sweater. And in a week, my sweater grew far more than this scarf did. And part of that is because it's on big needles. It's on 9mm needles. I'm using, because I'm kind of new to, I don't do a lot of sweater knitting. I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on the yarn, especially when I'm really now in my practicing stage. So I picked up this. It's Loops and Threads Charisma, and the color is called Blush Tweed. Now, pink. I did see the Barbie movie. I did love all the colors. Some people might think that I'm a Barbie fan because of all of the pink, but actually, I'm more of a Julia Roberts Steel Magnolias person. And I'll show you the clip.
My colors are blush and bashful, Mama. How precious is this wedding gonna get, I ask you? My colors are blush and bashful. I have chosen 2 shades of pink. One is much deeper than the other.
So, the sweater I'm making is called the Gossamer Twist Sweater by Kadri, and that is on, I found it on Ravelry. I was looking for a bulky sweater, bulky knit, because this one is a bulky 5. So, Gossamer Twist, and this is where it is so far. I have that much of that sleeve. This one still needs to be done. It's called a twisted rib. So I've had to learn how to do a twisted ribs and an Italian bind off. So it's always great when you can learn 1 or 2 things with every new pattern. Thank God for YouTube. When I don't know how to do a stitch, I go to YouTube and I play that video dozens of times until I actually can figure out how to do it. And then it's like, well, this is easy. But I mean, it took me multiple attempts. The good thing about knitting is you can just rip it out and start again and rip it out and start again. And you'll see that if you watch any like knitting YouTubers, they'll make a sweater and decide they don't like it, and they rip it out and they make a different sweater out of their yarn, because the yarn is the value. The knitting is just time, and we have lots of that. Yeah, so this is just going to be a really cozy, squishy sweater for just casual wear. So next time I hope to show you that finished, and it probably will be, because I really want to work on this. I adult a little bit, and then I play a little bit, and then I adult, and then I play. All right. So that, I think, are all my makes. And so, final thing is books. So it's been a while, it's been almost a month since I was here. I've read and listened to some great books. So the first book I'm going to talk about is called The Secret of Floralia. This is by Patty Callahan Henry. And this is based on, it's historical fiction. It's based on the children of London going into the country to be safe. And what happened was there were a lot of lost children that they went into the countryside and were never seen again. Well, in this story, the two sisters are out, and the older sister gets distracted, and when she goes to find her little sister is gone. And the whole town looks for Floralia, and they have no luck. They can't find her. And so this young girl carries the guilt of having left her little sister unattended. As an adult, she's working in a bookstore, and a book comes into this bookstore. This was sort of like rare and collectible books, and it's a book about sort of a woodland fantasy story that she used to tell her little sister. She made up this story along with her little sister, and now here is an actual book with these same stories. And so right away she's thinking, my little sister must be alive somewhere. And so the rest of the story is about how this book came to be written, what happened to her little sister, and it's a good one. So the next one, I cried, which isn't good because it was an audiobook and I was driving at the time. I cried at the beginning and I cried at the end. It was lovely. Yeah, crying can be lovely. It was called One Italian Summer, and it's by Rebecca Searle. So the young woman in this story has just lost her mother, and she's grieving. And she talks about how her mother was her best friend. And I'm tearing up right now just saying that. If any of you were a mama's girl, you know, this first part is a real tearjerker. So what this mother and daughter did while the mother was going through cancer treatments was they planned the vacation that the mother always wanted to take her daughter on. She wanted to take her to Positano and show her this wonderful place that was so important to her as a young woman. The mother dies. She gets the tickets in the mail and decides that she needs a change. She's questioning her relationship with her husband. She's questioning what she should be doing with her life, and so off to Italy she goes. And while she's there, she meets her mother as a young woman. You know I love time books. Well, this is great. So imagine if you, as the daughter, could go and see what your mother was like as a young woman. So, sort of at a pivotal time in her life. It was great. It's really good. So the next tearjerker I listened to again. This one is very touching. It's called The Knitting Circle by Anne Hood. So this is an older book. I think it was written like 2008, something like that. And it's about a young mother who suddenly loses her child. And of course is devastated. She's grieving. She just cannot live life the way she did previously. And her mother suggests that she start knitting and gives her the name of a woman to teach her how to knit. And she begins to learn to knit. The subtitle for this could be How Knitting Saved My Life. It's that kind of a book. And so the Knitting Circle is a group of women who all tell their stories about how knitting rehabilitated them, I guess, helped them with their grieving process. It's lovely. So then I read Lessons in Chemistry. This is by Bonnie Garmus. And this book is everywhere. If you've been in a bookstore, you've seen this title. And, it's kind of the book for book clubs. I read it and enjoyed it, and then I read some of the reviews, and I kind of thought, oh, okay, this was a different take on this book than what I put into it. But it's a great book for discussion. So, Elizabeth Zott is brilliant. It's 1960s. And this brilliant chemist is making coffee, basically, for the other professors at the university. She just is not getting the respect that she deserves for her abilities. But one brilliant professor really sees her brilliance and loves her brilliance. He's a man who really loves how intelligent she is. Because of circumstances, Elizabeth loses her university job and becomes a TV cook, a chef on TV. And yes, she teaches women how to cook, but she also teaches women of the 1960s that they are valuable, important members of the family. And her sign-off for each show is, children, set the table. Your mother needs a minute to herself. Great. It's going to be on Apple TV as a series, and I saw a trailer, and I would watch it just for the dog. In the book, they have a dog called 630, and 6:30 cares for the members of the family. Well, this dog, I mean, it wasn't the way I'd pictured 6:30, but it's even better. 6:30 is just, like I said, I'll watch it just for the dog. All right, and final book, totally different. It should be. It's called The Anomaly. An Air France flight is going to land at JFK, and they go through terrible turbulence, like kind of the worst turbulence that planes go through. They go through it, and then it's clear, and they're worried there may be some damage. They contact JFK. They tell them they're going to be landing. JFK is a little bit concerned. You know, their air traffic controllers are checking, like, who is the pilot? What is the pilot's name? They do some other security checks. And then they tell the flight to land at a military base. Because the problem is that this same flight landed in March, and now it's June. But everybody on the flight thinks it's March. So there's a plane load of people that believe it's March, but it's actually June. And a whole flight of people who have already lived their lives from the next several months. They've traveled, they've gotten sick, they've gotten married, pregnant. And so there is, national security is trying to figure out how to present this to the world. That there's two of some people. It's out there, I know, but it was great. The Anomaly was by Hervé Tellier, translated from French. I can really see it like a Netflix kind of thing. All right, great books. There's always great books. Please support your local library. Local libraries are wonderful. All right, everyone. Remember to tell me if you're Team Summer or Team Fall. And if you're interested in any of those Prairie Schooler Santa patterns, put the word into your comment and I'll do a draw. Thanks, everyone. Go out and enjoy your day.